I know that there's a wide variation from county to county in how many there are, not only in the number, but then in how many of that number are counted. And we just have people getting treated differently all across the state, and that's a real serious problem when it comes to our U.S. Constitution and its equal protection guarantees.
Representative Clyde, you brought up the issue with the elimination of the last 3 days of voting for the prior 2 elections. If you believe that it's a wrong decision by Secretary Houston, how come there hasn't been a lawsuit filed challenging his order on that and so forth? And do you expect one before this fall's election?
I think that there has been a lot of confusion about that issue. In part, it's such a moving target that it's hard for the parties to a potential lawsuit to come down on, a set complaint. I mean, first we have Houston making his unilateral decision. Now we have the legislature trying to cement in law what is currently very unclear. And we kind of have two. First Houston tried to eliminate the 3 days. Now we have the legislature putting it in Senate Bill 295, even though they claim it's a clean repeal. So it's a moving target for a lawsuit. I mean, which do you attack? Because the legislature can come through and put it in law. And that's what they're trying to do with Senate Bill 295.
Does that actually end Senate Bill 295? Because I know that the Senate Democrats tried to amend it, so it wouldn't be. But is that a specific provision that says the last 3 days are eliminated?
Yes. Yes, that is included in this 355-page statement of the law that the Republicans have included in the bill. We've passed out, we have our letter available, which kind of outlines our 3 suggestions to Speaker Batchelder, and the first one is, look, this isn't a clean repeal. If we're going to come together and talk about taking this off the ballot, the first thing that needs to happen is this needs to be a clean repeal, not implementing one of the most harmful provisions of House Bill 194, which is the elimination of the 3 busiest days of early voting.
The Senate Republicans repeatedly argued that because of House Bill 224, which passed after 194 and is still in effect, that bill also eliminated those last 3 days, and that is because of that provision. Even if 194 stayed on the ballot and was repealed by the voters, those 3 days would still not be in effect.
I think it's interesting that they argue that when, if they're right, then why are they putting it in Senate Bill 295? I mean, we've been arguing that Houston...
What they're arguing is that they didn't want it to come out and make it, because it's not part of one. It's more legal technicalities the way they described it. They just didn't want to make it confusing and make it sound like they were trying to repeal a part of another bill as part of this one.
And I just don't buy that. I think what's happened is when 224 was drafted, assuming 194 would become law. When 194 got put on hold, 224 makes no sense anymore. Secretary Houston originally came to the legislature and said, what do I do here? This makes no sense. We were trying to work with him and was